all these little things popping in and you just feel your heart is full.
Yeah.
And it's like anchoring into that kind of frequency, that kind of life is available for all of us every single day. We have the capacity to be in co-creation, right? The relationships like we are, in
Yeah.
business. It's not competition, it's support, it's love, it's growth, it's
Mm.
safety, it's the space to expand and just be safe and not feel fear and anxiousness and all those kind of emotions or lower, like, inverted commas, I'm going to put again, lower frequency sort of vibes,
Yeah.
because there is still a purpose for those. But it's like you understand that when you're in them, you still have the capacity to come out,
Mm.
and it's not going to be like all consuming. And I just feel like New Earth is actually like a frequency that we hold within us,
Yeah.
which then we experience outside of us.
All right. Amazing. We are recording. Welcome to another episode of Fearless. And this episode is going to be like a little bit different because I have no structure for this. I have no plan for this. I'm just so excited to invite my beautiful friend, client, mentor, all the things in one. Like, our relationship is so wonderful and it's so new earth, new paradigm, and it's definitely something we will talk about, but we don't have a plan. We just want to jump on, and we've literally already been talking for about 20 minutes, and we're like, oh, this is all stuff we should be recording for this episode. So I am going to introduce my beautiful friend, Anya, who is, and invite her into the show to share her knowledge and her wisdom. She is an alignment healer, an energy healer, a spiritual coach, and she has been helping with me in particular in accessing my Akashic Records. So excited. Welcome, Anya, to the
Thank
show.
you. I'm so excited. Yeah, we're just like, I know we've been jittering and like chatting and blah, 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 blah. And we're like, why are we not recording? And even when you were setting it up, like, okay, stop talking because this is gold.
I know. I know. We're just like, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
it's so
yeah,
perfect. It's so
yeah.
perfect. And something I want to point this out. I don't
Mm.
really know why, but it just came through to point it out that for anyone listening who is doing their own like human design experiment. So I am a manifesting generator and Anya is a projector. So I love that in our relationship because
Yeah.
I really feel like they, like, manigens and projectors work in like beautiful harmony together, like
Yeah.
really complement each other. Um, like, you definitely help me harness and direct a lot of my energy. My husband is also a projector, so like he definitely helps me harness and like
Makes
direct
sense.
my energy. And yeah, yeah. So I just thought I'd share that because you'll probably notice that even in the way like we like move through our conversation and the way that we interact with each other. I think it definitely comes out a lot between us. So
Yeah. And I think like you were talking about how you have emotional authority as well, which I
yeah,
do too.
yeah,
We're just talking about like the waves that we ride with the emotional authority. And obviously there's like different types of waves as well, energetic waves when you go deeper into human design, which I have a little bit as well. You've probably gone a bit deeper, but yeah, like the high that you get from like when you're in that zone, you're really tapping into your passion, your field, and you're like, oh my God, I feel on top of the world. Nothing can touch me. And then the next day you're like in the pit.
yeah,
Like you're
yeah,
like, why? Why me? And I've had a very interesting relationship with that in the last few months because like my spiritual journey has definitely up leveled since becoming a practitioner and a healer. And I've always was like in the past, like, oh, what's wrong with me? I am like so am I depressed or am I anxious or do I need therapy or
mm,
whatever? And now I
yeah,
simply am able to recognize and go into those depths with optimism. I actually am
yes.
like, I'm in it. I'm in the feeling of it, and that's okay because I know on the other side I'm leveling up. And it's almost like I relish it, just like a bit, maybe masochistic, but like Like, oh yeah, I'm clearing out some more gunk. I'm clearing out some more
Yeah.
shit, going into this stuff that, I wouldn't necessarily be able to face when I'm on the high.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
because you're like, oh, rainbows and
Mm,
sparkles and sunshine,
mm.
and which is
Yeah.
great, but we do need both. It's like the nature of where we are in this human existence, duality, all the things. So yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And also, like with the wave, when you are in the depths, and it was so helpful, resourceful for me to understand that about myself, because people always want you to be able to explain how you feel or why you feel like that.
Mm,
And for someone with an emotional authority, we can feel like apathetic for no reason. Like there
mhm.
can be no external factor for us
Yeah,
being in a low emotional state. Like
exactly.
it doesn't have to be triggered by anything. We can, it's just part of that emotional authority cycle. And but for me, I would always be like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me because like
Hmm.
I'm sad for no reason, or like I just feel like doing nothing today. And then yeah, like other times, particularly being a manager, when I'm doing this sort of work, or I'm jumping on calls with women, or I am with my husband, like in our caravan, filming YouTube episodes, like all of that stuff, the stuff that lights me up. I have
Mm.
infinite energy, and it's like, whoa, my God, like infinite energy. And then all of a sudden, you're in normal life, and
Yeah.
it's like, hmm, normal
Mm,
life is
mm,
boring.
mm. Yeah,
which
and
which is a shadow for me. So inside my gene keys, it's actually a shadow for me that I have to be aware of,
mm,
because when I fall into the shadow, it's like dullness, or it can be
yeah,
depression, or it's just
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
apathy.
yeah. I get you.
Then I miss all the beauty of life, because that's the gift version of
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So um yeah, which has been really helpful too, because I can recognize those. I shared a live about this morning, that like, because I have done this work to learn more about my specific energetic blueprint and my gene keys, I know like when I'm feeling the need to control, or I'm feeling bored, or I'm feeling what's another one, doubt, like those are my specific shadows within my life's purpose and work. It's
yeah.
like, oh, I'm noticing doubt, like, okay,
Hmm.
what what is this trying to tell me? What do I need to work on here? And I know on the flip side of that is like this gift version. So I know
Yeah.
if I can embody doubt, I can embody the shadow. It's
Hmm.
just as easy for me to embody the gift.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way of looking at it, actually. Yeah, definitely 100%. And yeah, like that real, it's, I feel like it is coming back to awareness. Like so much of my capacity to move through these things is like awareness of like the universal laws and human design and all these sort of frameworks that are really like grounded in that universal, that spiritual knowledge and truth. And they kind of give you that container to then go, oh, okay, this is okay, and to then kind of like breathe into it.
Mm.
That makes sense. And like, yeah, like going back to that whole, oh, what's wrong with me? Like I'm feeling low, I'm feeling this, and I think that comes back to a reflection of these underlying themes and or programming, inverted commas, that there has to be something wrong for us to be in that kind of state, and moving into the new earth, it's that understanding that all is love, everything is of creation and everything has its purpose. And yeah, there I feel myself opening to this now because there has been so much, so many tears, so much like exploration of darkness and depth for me in the last few months. And at times I felt like I was never going to come out of it.
Mm.
Like I've still functioned as a normal person. I have kids, I have wonderful, happy moments, but just deep inside, you feel that there's this landscape that you're never going to come out of in a way. And you do, you come out the other side. And those kind of, yeah, those universal truths really help to give you, I guess, like your map or like your guideposts, to go, okay, this is just the next step I have to get to
Yeah.
then go. And every time you go back in, your understanding is so much deeper and your ability to navigate it is so much more, like so much stronger. So
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
just
Yeah.
feels really, really good to talk about that, I think, and just yeah, really, really cool. So I love our relationship. Yes, and our relationship has turned into this beautiful co-creation of like, I actually want to talk about how I found you. Because I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think you know this, like, because I know that one of your mentors is Alex Tripod.
Yeah.
I think it was probably about 2 years ago, maybe. When did you quit teaching?
Yeah. Cool. Good
That's
question.
when I
Yeah. Yeah.
started following you. Like
Okay.
I remember
Right.
you.
Cool.
I thought I watched your stories when you were like, I'm
Yeah.
about to leave like Department of Education Queensland and all of this, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my God, this is such a huge step, And then I think I didn't really watch you for a while, and then last year, like mid last year, you sort of came back into my field, obviously for a reason. But it was just so amazing how like I was like, oh, I like the vibe of Crystal. I'm gonna give her a follow, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then it just really naturally evolved like your like Activate 10X. I think I joined your like your free 4 or 5 day like series like to create
Yeah.
your encourage ritual, and then from there getting into Activate 10X. And that was at a time where I was like learning to read the Akashic Records as well, and showing up to your calls every single week for those 3 months was like that kind of more of that, I'm going to say masculine energy that I needed to like mindset and structure and that kind of thing, which was kind of supporting that more feminine, like going into the Akashic Records, receiving intuitive guidance, learning how to get, access with my guides and things like that. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful how that evolved. And then, yeah, you became my business coach, and then I activated you, and
I know, like that. So yeah, so I'm gonna take it now
yeah,
because,
you go.
like I'm so grateful and thankful for you and all of the beautiful things that you just said. And yeah, I love how that worked. I think I remember now too. I think it was you. Like I did a reel about trust and surrender. I can't remember, but you commented on it anyway. So I think, but then there was like this thing happening, as does for me all the time, because I'm not very good at necessarily like connecting people with their profiles. Like I really struggle to be like,
Oh
who
yeah,
is this person?
yeah,
And so you were on Instagram, but then we were connecting in my Facebook group on
yes,
Facebook, but it
yeah.
took me a while to like put the two together. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, so then yeah, so you were inside my Facebook group and yeah, did my 4 day activate free and then came into activate 10x um and like you were like dream participant, right? Because you showed up. I was like, so activate 10x when you came in, that was the first time I'd run it. It was my first like big program I put out there, and I was like, oh my god, I'm talking to a person. There's like a person on the screen for me to like share my energy with and to speak to, because previously it had just been like, people sign up and they don't show up and that's all fine and perfect, but it was just like me talking to myself on Zoom. And then there was like a human there, and I was like, oh my god. And you were so like open. You went in like in any of the like the coaching sessions or the
Yeah.
processes that we did, like you went in. I was like, oh, amazing. And then yes, then like I worked with you on sort of like the foundations for your business, and all of that was amazing. But at the time I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't very much in the spiritual world. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said, I was very much the like strategy, do the things, self
Mindset. Yeah.
motivation, like consistency, blah blah blah, very masculine. Didn't really have any interest. Like it's funny because Alex Tripod is a mentor of mine, but even within her container, like I had this moment where I was like crying in the group coaching, because I'm like, you're all like 5D earth aliens and like I don't even understand the language you're using. I just want to travel in my caravan and sell water machines. Like I don't belong here. Like I don't belong here. You're so much next level compared to me. Like, and she, being the amazing woman she is, we worked through that. It's like, you are meant to be here because you wouldn't be here if you weren't meant to be here. But so I was very like, no.
Yeah.
And then just
Yeah.
in supporting you in the foundations of starting your business, I was like, this is cool. Like I want to know more about this, which we're going to talk about next. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are the Akashic Records?
Yeah.
What the hell
Yeah.
is New Earth? Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
For the people following, like listening, who are where I was and aren't quite here where we are now. But yeah, then you helped me activate my record, and it was like, holy fuck, this is like, this
Which, yeah, because I was going to
is
say,
so much more.
now you may not have been there, what was that? Probably August or June last year. You
Yeah,
may
yeah,
not have
yeah.
been there, but you are definitely there now.
I'm definitely there now. I'm definitely like, yeah, I speak light language. Yeah, I have goddesses on my team. Like, yeah, I do
Hmm.
quantum business coaching. Like,
Hmm.
and there's still a lot of resistance because my human is like, the fuck are you talking about? But like working with you, like it's like it's a knowing. Like it's just a knowing. There
Hmm.
is it cannot be anything else. And I know we were talking about the Matrix before we started recording. And like we were talking about how like you go back into normal things and you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I cannot do this anymore. Like I don't belong here. I don't know how to function in this space anymore. Like once you sort of like it's literally like the movie. Like you
Yeah.
have the whatever it is, the red or the blue one. Like you cannot go back.
Yeah.
And it's really hard because sometimes you're like, I just want to go back. I just want to go back to sleep. I no, I can't. I don't accept this. I can't take on this role. It's too big. It's too
Yeah.
much. My human is freaking out.
Hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about like that, but also like the Akashic Records,
Hmm. Hmm.
like
Hmm.
the New Earth, like for people who have an inkling that there is something like that that is meant for them.
Hmm. Hmm.
We all have that meant for us, but like the people that are sort of like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
like there is something here more for me.
I get you.
How do we navigate that? How do the Akashic Records tie into that and help us with that? What the
Hmm.
hell is New Earth? Because I know a lot of people are like, I say it all the time now, but I don't think I've ever stopped to like explain what I mean by
Yeah.
that. It's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're making a new Earth. Why don't you
Yeah.
understand that? Let's move
Yeah.
on, keep going.
Yeah.
So maybe we can
Yeah.
illuminate that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's vamp
Yeah.
around
And I think I'll start with the New Earth because like so in on Instagram obviously I've come across a whole community of people that we've all connected with on very similar journeys, and we've sort of connected in terms of like light language or Reiki healing or how our gifts have come online or our soul essence as well. We have similar soul essences and we're like a soul family group. We understand that. And one of the women in the group asked, she's like, and she's clairvoyant, I think. So she sees things all the time, but she's like, how do I know when I'm in New Earth? How do I know like this New Earth, New Earth, New Earth? I don't know what New Earth is, exactly what you just
that.
said. And it was really interesting because that weekend, I think it must have, I'd had a day with my children where we had just like we were in the car, we drove to like a site near us. There's like a sacred indigenous site near us. And it's just like a public jetty. People can go and walk. It's like next to an estuary, a body of water. We had like rainbows in the sky and beautiful sunshine. And we just saw wildlife and bird life. And it just felt like just, when you have those days out in nature and you just feel so like your soul is full, and you just have no squabbles, you don't have any like tiffs or anything. And even if you do, it's just light and airy and breezy and easy. And then you have like little synchronicities pop in. Like, for example, like we walk back to the car and there's like a red crested robin like flying next to the windscreen of my car, which are like so rare. And just all these little things popping in, and you just feel your heart is full.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's like anchoring into that kind of frequency, that that kind of life is available for all of us every single day. We have the capacity to be in co-creation, right? The relationships like we are,
Yeah.
in business. It's not competition, it's support, it's love, it's growth, it's
Mm.
safety, it's the space to expand and be and just be safe and not feel fear and anxiousness and all those kind of emotions or lower, like, inverted commas, I'm going to put again, lower frequency sort of vibes,
Yeah.
because there is still a purpose for those. But it's like you understand that when you're in them, you still have the capacity to come out.
Mm.
and it's not going to be like all consuming. And I just feel like New Earth is actually like a frequency that we hold within us,
Yeah.
which then we experience outside of us. It's never
Yeah.
going to be something like you stepping, through a doorway or whatever, and like, oh my God, the sky is purple and whatever, and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's you actually understanding that this possibility of this kind of world is there. It's
Yeah.
there and possible. And it takes you bringing that frequency inside of yourself, holding that frequency inside of yourself through gratitude, through love, through giving, through
Mm.
openness, to then anchor in the frequency. And that to me is New Earth. I hope that makes sense.
I love that. I love that. And I was just
Yeah.
thinking too when you're talking about like it's not like the Earth itself is going to physically change
Mm,
because that's something I've been like, but
mm,
like how can we have new Earth in my timeline time
mm-hmm,
or in my children's lifetime? Like because to me I was like, so when we're talking about like a different dimension, like we're going to transcend our human bodies and like, but no, I love what you're saying about it's a frequency. We're going to hold the frequency of a fifth dimension if it's 5D Earth, but whatever, new Earth, like
mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be one dimension, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
multidimensional.
Multidimensional.
Yeah. So I love that. Like that makes so much more sense. That's probably why I don't say 5D Earth. I say
Hmm.
new Earth
Hmm.
because why would we tap into just one dimension when there's like
Yeah, yeah.
dimension?
And I've made a reel about that too. Like it doesn't stop at 5D. Like
Yeah.
everybody's talking about 5D, blah blah blah. But literally, like some of the frequencies that we access when we are in the Akashic records are higher than that, like
Yeah.
12D and higher,
Yeah.
because those are our highest self in essence is source. It's God creator source consciousness, which is there are people who have experienced that and they've almost been like in a sense like mentally wiped out by it because it's just so beyond us. But through the Akashic records and through the work that we do, I always aim to tune into the highest frequency of love, light, and truth and alignment that is available to us at any time. And that will be different for different people because where your base level, like where your thermostat is. And then as you slowly, do more of the energy work and release more of the gunk and more of the crap in your field, that's where you can increase your capacity to hold more light. And yeah, I think I just went back to her and I just said, New Earth is you can choose to embody that. It is a choice. It is a frequency to hold. And as we then are able to anchor into more of that frequency, then like you were saying, like how is that going to happen in this lifetime? Because as we increase our frequency, things happen quicker. Like
Yeah.
we know that, like we've experienced that in the growth that we've had in the last 5 to 6 months, like has been
Yeah.
incredible. For
Absolutely.
however long you've been on your journey for, and now all of a sudden it's like phew, like up the hill, rocket ship
Yeah.
into space, like just
Yeah.
every week feels like almost like 10 years of things that you're going through, but you're also like, it's just one day that I've
Yeah.
had. It's just like
Right.
7 days, or
Or
it's
it's one conversation.
yeah.
It's like, holy
Yeah,
moly, that was one conversation, and I'm like in a
exactly.
whole new like level.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'd
exactly.
love to. I want to share like my understanding with New Earth too, and this comes from my human design experiment and my
Mm,
exploration of gene keys. So one of the core things I'm here to do, like my sole purpose, is around leadership, but in this New Earth model. So it's
mhm,
not, and it's about healing humanity's shadows. Like that's how
mhm,
we create the New Earth. So models of leadership that are based on control, I'm here to like dismantle those and
mhm,
replace them with like
mhm,
synergy, like what we're doing, where it's about
mhm.
co-creation. And yes, you may have people that are like the spearhead or,
Yeah,
people
yeah,
opt to follow as the leader, but
yeah,
everybody has a role to play. And it's
yeah,
not like the same model, right? Like the top-down leadership
yeah,
model that the world is used to.
yeah,
Things like hierarchies, that separate us like financially, like ethnically, by race, by gender, by all of those things. Like it's about those things not being the way the whole world is structured anymore as
yeah.
well. Like when we say new paradigm, that's where I see it. And that's why I love so much anybody working online. Because if you're working online, whether you know it or not, you're already a conscious creator of the new paradigm.
Mhm.
Because we never used to work like that. Never used
Yeah.
to have that kind of freedom in the work
Hmm.
that we did. It was
Hmm.
always within a very tight structure. So
Hmm.
if you are building something online, whether you're like on the spiritual journey like we are, you're already creating the new earth purely because you're like, that like whole job thing in a box over there, not for me.
Yeah.
Where a boss tells me what I have to do and earns more than me just because they're the boss, like they don't necessarily do more work than me.
Yeah.
Down the bottom, you probably do a lot more of the heavy lifting work, like, not for me. I'm going to make something over here. Like, that's literally new paradigm
Yeah.
already, just
Yeah.
in that transition, which,
Yeah.
like, I kind of love COVID for that. Like,
Yeah.
like, yes, we
Go
can
down that rabbit hole.
definitely
Yeah.
go into the like, it was terrible, the drama, the pain, the suffering of it, or we can be like, holy crap, I'm so glad that
Hmm.
that happened because it brought so many of us together. It woke so many of us up to the
Hmm.
fact that the old earth, the old paradigm, the old system didn't work. It was
Hmm.
literally killing people, like destroying people, their souls, dividing us. And now we're like, oh, we can like literally do whatever we want.
Hmm.
It's the rules.
And that it was in its own way the ultimate shadow, like
Yeah.
the ultimate shadow too. And it how has that event in itself completely like, I'm going to use the word, the fad word, quantum leaped, like
Yeah.
humanity, really,
Yeah.
because so many people in this space, like online coaching, spirituality, in their bio, it's like, then COVID happened and blah,
Yeah,
blah,
right? Yeah.
like,
It was like
and
a spiritual awakening for the whole world. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And I love how you talk about like, yeah, you don't like the way that you, for me, like translate this idea that, yeah, your traditional 9 to 5 job doesn't have to be the only way that you, earn an income and a living, support your family kind of thing. The way that you translate that for me is like the bridge between the 3D stepping up to, again, inverted commas, 5D or higher.
Yeah.
It is because we have to, and that's what we need in, me, leaders who are essentially like traverse, that's what I'm thinking of. This bridge between those two paradigms. We need those people who can go between,
Mm.
because you need to be able to deliver it in a way that's like digestible for people, because there's going to be people who are like, what the fuck is new earth, and then having that conversation, just like, this is very grounded, very practical about what this means for me. This is how you can then apply it and look for it in your day to day, and
Mm.
what that might feel like feel that connection when you're just like in that perfect moment with your children or your loved ones or whatever. You just had like a really good afternoon together, laughing and chilling, eating good food. That feeling of like just ease and peace, that is like the foundation of it.
Yeah.
And just giving and yeah, receiving, and
Yeah.
all the good things, all the
Something
good things.
I've heard, so Emma Dunwoody, she is a human design coach. Um,
Mm,
and she was saying in her podcast the other day, she was talking about how you can tap into your design within your business. But I loved the way she talked about, like, is it energy giving or energy taking? And
mm,
I feel like that is a good
mm,
barometer, like we could use, or measure we could use as well, of like
mm,
whether you're in new or old earth, like, is what I'm doing energy giving or is it energy taking? Because if it's energy taking, it's possibly not aligned for you, or it could be within a shadow or a wound of humanity.
mm,
Like, I think that just came to me then. So I'm going to do some
mm,
more thinking about that. But yeah, because she's talking like specifically in physical actions you're doing or things that you're doing within your business, but like on
mhm,
a
mhm,
bigger level, it's the same kind of thing, right?
mm. And I kind of wanted to go into that. I feel like tapping into that, like energy giving or energy taking, but bringing that back to yourself,
Mm.
because a really big thing for me on this spiritual journey, which started for me, like just to escalate it, was like coming back to myself and actually giving back to myself and breaking down the belief that taking time for myself and giving time to myself and focusing on myself and really exploring myself deeply was not selfish.
Mm.
Like, it is for me a fundamental like base principle of this whole journey, because without me being able to push through, with certain dynamics in my relationships and things like that, that it was okay for me to give back to myself and I was worthy of that. Without having done that, I wouldn't be where I am today. And for me, it's been such a core foundational principle. And there's still so many of us, I feel, that are just operating from that. Is it energy taking? It's energy taking because we're giving to others. But it also comes back to this whole principle that we are all one.
Mm.
And, without giving to ourselves and recognizing within ourselves what we need and expecting others to meet that need for us, we're
Yeah.
always going to be coming from a place of lack,
Yeah.
like always. And it's just very, very passionate about that. I could go off on a whole, yeah, thing.
Yeah.
But that's been a real, yeah. And it's the whole microcosm, macrocosm, if
Yeah.
you're not doing it for yourself on an individual level, how can you expect to then do it for the collective or for your family or for those around you or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
as mum, there's a whole bunch of other programming around there as mums, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which I know.
Oh, so
Yeah,
much. And especially modern motherhood as well.
yeah, yeah,
There's so much. There's so much there. And I want to come back again. Not like human design is not a dogma, like, but
yeah, yeah,
hearing you talk about the importance of that for you, like knowing that are a projector, it's even more important for you to have
yeah,
alone time and to
yeah,
recharge. And
yeah,
literally, when you do that, you move so much faster.
yeah.
You
And
know,
I can
you
give so much
move.
more. I can come from a place of almost like unlimited capacity,
Yeah,
and trying to, I'm just going to say it, my husband, helping him to see that giving
yeah,
back to ourselves like that is okay.
yeah.
It's okay and it's
Well,
needed.
we talk about like mothers and the conditioning on mothers, men that because my husband is also a projector.
Yeah,
I'm so fucking grateful for him because he's
yeah,
so open to all
yeah,
of this. Like he
yeah,
believes in my spiritual gifts more than I do. Like it's just so much
yeah,
gratitude for him. But like, so he's a projector, but for him, the deconditioning he has had to do to even just like go to the gym without feeling guilty
yeah.
or like
Mm,
not be constantly fixing things or working on things or doing things and actually like sleeping,
yes.
or like having a rest during the day, like because he's like so conditioned with working in like a generator would, like
Yeah,
and his
yeah, yeah,
energy doesn't work
yeah,
like that because he's a
yeah,
projector.
yeah,
And also like for him specifically, um his projectors are really good at seeing how things aren't working efficiently, right? And
mm,
being able to be like, there's a better way to do that.
mm,
And it's funny, we were talking about previous jobs he's had. He used to work on a farm and he was hired as a mechanic, but they would always make him do more than that job. And he's also a 3-5 profile. So fives are the problem solvers, the heroes,
mm,
fix the world. Um, he would take on everybody's problem to fix it and then have all this resentment about it because he's like, I'm
yeah,
just a mechanic, but I'm doing everything on the farm and they
yeah,
want me to be a fucking
yeah,
wizard and fix everything.
yeah,
But now that he knows that about himself, he like likes to step into that role because he also knows what's not his and what,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know? Yeah.
yeah. And again, it's like coming back to those like universal truths of this framework. Again, not a dogma, take what
No,
resonates with you, but
exactly.
how these frameworks give you almost permission to lean into the things that will fuel you and will align with you. And
Yeah.
then the permission to go, oh, I've tried that, or that didn't quite work for me, and now I know why, and that's not for me. So
Yeah.
I love, and my husband's a projector too, actually. So, and yeah, like through this journey, like I'm so grateful because it has brought us, yeah, like so much closer together. Because, COVID was obviously very challenging for so many people, but I'm just really grateful for my higher self, my subconscious, my guides, whatever, like giving me that strength to kind of dig in and go, no, you need to do this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we could go off and again a whole day
Yeah.
is
Well,
talking about that, but
let's take that as a way into um how did you find the Akashic Records? Like, how did you end
yeah,
up?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you the full story because I'm a projector. I like context as well. So When I became a mother, I very much thought that I was going to, be like easy breezy and have these like beautiful activities with my daughter and be like a nature baby and whatever and blah blah blah. And we
Yep.
did have those moments. Instagram mum, all of this stuff.
I see
Yeah.
you.
Oh my God. Yeah. And whilst I did have those moments as well, there was so much that came up for me in terms of unresolved wounds and childhood trauma and like which I wasn't even conscious of. Like I was so scared. I was so scared to do things um for myself and for my daughter. I won't go into the depths of it, but I had this one moment one day, and it was pretty much like my dark night of the soul. And I said, I actually need professional help. And I went and saw a psychologist for, I think I was with her for about 11 or 12 months. She was amazing, completely changed my life. And around that time, I got back into meditation. I found podcasts, like amazing podcasts, which completely opened me up. And I started looking at life coaching, and I joined Catherine Zankina Manifestation Babe Academy, which was incredible, changed my life as well. We moved homes. We moved here to like Dawesville, Western Australia. Like I can see the ocean from my home. And my soul was like calling for that. And I know that I we moved to this area specifically. Even the way that we got this house was like, synchronicities, blah blah blah. And from there, I kept pursuing this, like, I want to be a life coach. I want to be a life coach. I kept working on my mindset. I did my hypnosises, I did my meditations, and slowly, slowly, that manifestation mindset life coaching started to evolve more into the metaphysical and more into the spiritual stuff, which I knew about anyway, but I wasn't, I suppose, as active in. And as I started meditating a lot more, I started to feel a lot more and go on some pretty trippy meditation journeys when I was like, okay. And I came across light language. I started listening to light language activations. This was probably end of 2022, early 2023. And then one day I just tried to do some light language and I was like, I think I'm making this up, but that's
Yeah.
just what it feels like. And it just kind of grew. I had a few other experiences with like a certain plant medicine journey, and then what else? I found a few other mentors who did some activations on me. And that's when I really felt my guides come in. And I was like, oh my God, this is what it feels like. And then about a month after that, that's when I stepped into the container with you. And then a month after that, I did my Akashic Records training. So I did my Akashic Records training through Nimesh Radia and Stacey Brown. They have a wonderful podcast as well. Um, and they taught me in 3 sessions. They read my records, then I read my records, and then I read one of their records.
That's so
And
fast.
yeah, it was like 3 sessions, like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And I knew that the things that I'd gone through previously had kind of like pre-activated me for that as well. And obviously I'd done a lot of shadow work through the mindset and stuff like, because you do need to do a certain amount of internal work, I think,
Yeah.
to bring these things online, because you need to remove the density. You need to remove the gunk out so you can bring the frequency through. So I learned how to read the records and I was just practicing a bit. And then I had a family member who was like, can I just try doing something on you? Just try. And they're quite open-minded. And I pretty much did my first Akashic Records energy healing session. And this family member, they've had quite a few spiritual experiences themselves. And they looked at me afterwards and they were like, that is the most intense, powerful healing session I've ever had in my life. I feel like you moved things that were there. And I was like, okay. And then it just sort of grew from there. Like I offered a free services. I got a couple testimonials. I got a couple clients. You were my business coach at the same time as well. And just things progressed. And I found this other person who then we connected with our soul group. And I've since then removed more density. My light codes have come online. My light language has changed. I have different dialects. Like I have different guides. Um, I've done Reiki since then. It's progressed and it's incredible. Now I'm activating you, I'm activating other
Yeah.
people, and I'm getting a real deeper understanding of what it is that I'm here to do as well. I do grid work around the place where I am. So like light work, essentially grid work is like anchoring in more light into earth as well, because we need to be able to sort of anchor that light in. So when we raise our frequency, we're like all on the same level.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So anyway, that's my story. It's been
Yeah.
amazing. It's been a wild
Yeah.
ride and
Yeah.
just keeps getting better and better. And I'm so grateful. It's incredible. Every single session I do is like different and dynamic and incredible and exactly what it needs to be. And I trust and I'm so open and I'm so grateful. And I know that every single hardship that I went through my life has prepared me for this now.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
deep understanding that it all was meant for this is like so soul filling. You know,
Mm.
I think when you're on that spiritual journey, and for so long in my life, I had this feeling like this yearning, this like, and I could never pinpoint it. I even remember the feeling as a child. I was like, there's some feeling there that I can't get from anything. I think people talk about, like eating sugar or watching television or movie or like, doing like adrenaline, like junky stuff or whatever. Like you're searching for this feeling. And it literally is the connection back to yourself.
Yeah.
And once you get it, you're like, oh my God. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's incredible. Like, since like
Mm.
you've connected and since you've had
Yeah.
your experiences in the last few months, you're like, oh
Yeah, because I was gonna say when you were saying like, oh, this is what it feels like that's exactly
yeah.
what happened because, we were working together and we were working literally on like email marketing, automation, and building a website, like not spiritual, like, and you were like, oh, can I just like, do a session on you? And me being me, I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Because I'm very open-minded.
You're open to it, yeah.
And same as you, I feel I have always had this inkling and I've always had this connection to something, but I put it in like, oh, I love fantasy novels. I love this.
Mm,
Like, I love sci-fi, none of it's real. Like, it
mm,
can't be real here, but like, like one of my favorite TV shows of all time was Supernatural. And
wow.
like, so there's like little things I'm like, I've
Mm,
always believed in the supernatural, the other stuff, but,
yeah.
you know, and, but I never ever like, embraced it ever. Even like spirituality in terms of like religion. So um my family like weren't very religious. Like we went to church a couple of times. I think some of
Mm,
us were baptized or christened, some of us weren't. Like,
mhm,
we didn't go to church every week, but um I prayed every night
mm.
myself before I went to sleep. I prayed every night as a child, probably till my late teens. I prayed every single night. My family didn't know that,
Oh,
you know.
wow.
Not that it would have meant anything. It's just like I just
Yeah,
something
yeah,
that I did.
yeah.
It made me feel safe at night to go to sleep because I've always been scared of the dark. Probably because I was always scared that something was going to come and get me. Um, so like now looking back, I'm like, oh, of course, all the things were there. And even the
Mm,
other day, I was like, I've always talked to myself in my
mm,
head, but not in the like, the running thoughts way, in the like literally conversation
mhm.
with myself. I'm like, oh, I think that was actually me connecting all this time, but I didn't realize that. I thought I was just like, you know, I don't know, crazy person or whatever labels we put on things,
Yeah,
anxious,
yeah,
whatever, overthinker,
yeah.
all those things. Where was I going with this? It's going to come back around. My pivot is going to come back. Oh, yeah. That moment of opening the records and being like, oh my gosh, this is what it actually feels like. And the
Mm,
like the deep knowing and coming
mhm,
home to yourself. Like it was like, holy moly. There's
mhm,
like, that person in my head that I've been talking to my whole life, like those prayers that I said at night, it was like, wow. And my team is big. Like we've done a few
mm,
sessions now, and my team is freaking massive. It's
mhm.
very big.
They're like,
And
oh hey, oh
yeah, yeah,
hey.
yeah. And the reason why I did that pivot, here's why I did that pivot. Because I think this is something that would be helpful for us to talk about both of our experiences with. Something that has been a bit of a barrier for me in like really embracing this and my soul gifts. I think I'm a bit clairvoyant, clairsentient.
Mhm,
they're developing, and like yes, I have activated my light language,
Hmm.
which I still only do for myself. I have for you. Um, you know, it's
It's
because
awesome.
of that, like I'm scared of a rift with my family because for them, um, my growth for them has come out of nowhere, and because they love me, they're like, "Oh my God, are you okay?"
Mm,
Like, "Are you okay?" Because like this seems
mm,
like such a big change. Like, "Are you okay?" Like, we're here if you need us. It's like it's okay, and journeying through that in all the different ways and the pain and the my family should support me and all that stuff and had conversations with some of them. There's some people I still need to have conversations with that I've been avoiding, but
mm,
yeah, like I think that's a big piece, right? For some people, you've held that knowing your whole life, but you've just never embraced it because you you put it on your mask and being the person you feel you have to be for everybody else.
yeah.
And then when you fully step in and you activate it and you come out, it's really scary and it's really hard. Like you were talking about that bridge, right? Like
Yeah.
being the bridge between 3D and New Earth, but
Yeah.
then also like the bridge between the version of you that the people you love the most knew,
Yeah.
that they believe is the real version of you. And so
Yeah.
they're really scared and frightened by
Absolutely.
you just completely eroding that version of you, even though this is the new version of you. It's like the person you've always been and you always knew it, but you never shared it
Yeah.
because you didn't feel like it was safe to do so.
Mhm.
Like, what's your advice or what have you journeyed through with that or how have you like navigated that? Because I feel like
Mm,
more of us would activate ourselves and step into our power, our soul gifts, become the leaders into the new paradigm we're born to be if we knew how to do that in a way that felt safe.
mm. Um, so a couple things have actually come to mind there. And one of them I've already talked about is like coming back to giving anything that we are seeking outside of ourselves, like validation, safety, acceptance, love, we need to first be able to give back to ourselves. So coming back to that piece about giving to yourself, exploring yourself, loving yourself, knowing that you are worthy in yourself first as a foundation is really going to be important.
Mm,
The second thing, which actually helped me to step into being able to share so much of what I do now, like post light language and do things like that,
yeah.
was actually your courage ritual. Yeah, like me doing that consistently for 3 or 4 months um, really helped me to step into that courage because it is like I would go out into my backyard and I live in a corner block where the public footpath literally goes right in front of my fence and people can see me and I would go out in the morning and there'd be all the neighbors walking their dogs.
Yeah.
And when I first started doing it, I'd be like, I am grateful for this. And somebody would walk past and be like, I am grateful for this.
Yes, yes.
You know, and I wouldn't do it loud enough to like wake my neighbors up or anything, but just like saying it, standing there and like saying it like you would be talking to a room of people. And slowly over time, I'd be like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I've got to step up. I
Yeah.
love myself. And I would have to create more safety and really work through that mentally and go, what is actually going to happen if
Yeah.
somebody looks at me on the street and goes, that bitch is crazy?
Yeah.
Like what does somebody else's opinion on the street matter? And I think obviously it's different when it's your family, and that for me invites a lot more deeper exploration, the same kind of principles, but you're just going to have to keep going over it and over it and over it again because there's a lot more connections, there's a lot more layers, there's a lot more energy that's there.
Yeah.
If you feel this in your heart, then you will get to a point where you can no longer ignore it. And I truly believe like you will be exactly where you need to be on your journey and you will receive the tools exactly as you need to at the exact time. And I used to beat myself up because obviously again in our space, in our online space, there's so many people preaching about like even yourself, no shade, no shade, but like consistency,
Yeah. Yeah.
consistency,
Yeah.
consistency, consistency. And I recognize now that that consistency looks different for everybody.
Yeah.
it is still consistency, but it looks different for everyone.
Yeah,
And it may not be using the same tool every day for a whole year. It
yeah,
may be using the same tool for a few weeks or a few months, or you
absolutely.
may change your speed up, or you may be like, okay, I feel like I've nailed that. I'm gonna go into this next layer or this next area or something like that. You'll receive the tools as you need them. And like
Mm.
for me, through my journey, a lot of it was, obviously healing my wounding, speaking to a professional, then getting into mindset, getting into manifestation, and then now getting into the deeper energetic, real deep core stuff. And that's where I feel like the quantum leaping is coming for me. Yeah,
I'm I'm
you're
jumping
I've got a thing.
at
I've got a
I
thing.
because I love this.
Oh.
Because my understanding of consistency has grown and evolved as well.
Mm,
Because back consistency, 100%.
mhm,
But my understanding of consistency came from masculine, right? And masculine energy
mhm,
is
mhm,
24-hour cycle. You can do the same thing every single day over and over again, and you can, self motivation, all of that, right? But like you're saying, consistency is not on like single day basis.
yeah,
Consistency, and something I've shared in some of my containers around that is like, stop focusing on every individual day. Zoom out to a month.
mm,
Did you do that thing
mhm,
consistently more
yeah,
often than not over the
yeah,
space of a month?
yeah, yeah.
Then what you just said, just whole new level of it. Like, instead of it being about the actions,
Mm,
what is the result you're working towards, or what's the value that it
mm,
is? So if it's
mm,
healing, right?
mhm,
Again, over the course of this month, this year, have I consistently worked on my healing? It doesn't
mhm,
have to be the exact same way, the same tool every day. Have
mhm.
I worked on my healing? That's consistency.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because, like, again, the piece about momentum, I remember, I think it was Catherine Sinkino again, like, she was talking about momentum. Like, it's so hard, don't quit, because if you quit, it's so hard to gain that momentum again. And this thought popped in for me that was like, if something is truly in your heart that you desire it, you will never actually quit on it.
Yeah,
It may seem at times like you slow down or you put
yeah,
it to the side, or you're not doing it maybe as actively at a period of time, but you will come back to it if it's in your heart, if it's there. And this was like reflected for me, like, when I started my journey, I'm in a very busy season. I had my daughter, she was nearly 2, very busy. I would try and meditate where I could. I was navigating a whole bunch of family things, as we all do. We all have life going on at the same time. We can't possibly think, I'm just going to focus on this right now, because
yeah,
we're multi-dimensional beings. We've
yeah.
got life, we've got dishes, we've got
Mhm.
laundry.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
so I would do what I could when I could. And I recognize now that, like, when was it? 2 years ago. I think I sent you this DNA activation as well.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I found who I needed to find at the time, and she shared for free a DNA decree activation. I think it was like August 2022 I did this. No, maybe even earlier. No, August 2021. I did this decree. I like did a little meditation, connected to my heart space, and I did this decree. And it was like, I activate my DNA to the highest available template, something I can't remember the exact wording. But anyway, and I was like, did anything happen?
Yeah.
Like, come on, like, I'm expecting something to happen, like,
Yeah.
fireworks, like lightning to come in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, okay, that didn't work. Anyway, and then I had my own Akashic Records energy reading, like Akashic Records session earlier this year. And I asked her, how many of my DNA strands have I activated? Or how many are available to me? And we have 144 strands that are available to a certain extent to each individual. And she said, you actually have 144 strands available to you because you decreed it, because you willed it,
Yeah.
because you actually said and commanded it.
Yeah.
And I just went, oh, that's what I did. And that is actually how powerful we are.
Yeah.
For me, like, I'm kind of like like building on these like 3 or 4 core principles, like in terms of like spirituality and your journey and whatever. And for me, it's awareness, like awareness that everything that is happening outside of you is because of what's happening inside of you. Universal truth, as within, so without, as below, blah, blah, blah.
That's a hard one, though. That's a hard
It is
one.
a hard one.
It's
It
a
is.
hard pill to swallow too.
It
Yeah.
is, yeah. But it is like when you kind of start to explore that, it gives you an opportunity to say, okay, well, if everything is happening outside of me because of what's happening in me, I can change what's in me. And you can lean into that and invite it as like a place of empowerment.
Mm.
Like I can actually change what's inside of me. It might be hard to face that. I get that, but I can't control other people. I can't
Yeah.
control external things. I can control what's happening in me. So that's like one base call for me, like awareness. The second one is duality. So like you can't have the light without the shadow. That's like a really base one. I think there's a few more, but I haven't really fleshed them out yet. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just,
And I 100% agree with those. And like every time I move forward when things pop up,
yeah.
it's easy to say that it's like, it's not working for me or it's against me, or like fall into our victim, that like this
Mm-hmm.
that's so easy to do. And how that's what the powers that
Still
be
do,
want us to do, that,
still do
right?
it.
Because
Still do it
people
every
without
day.
hope
Yeah.
are easy to control. And like, but it is, anytime something pops up, it's reflecting back to you what you are feeling and thinking. Even
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing the work, like
Yeah.
there was something I wanted to ask you, something you said, and it was around that. It was around that, like, oh, like making the declaration, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
can make lots of declarations.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to come back to the safety piece too. This all ties in because, we can be what we're claiming. Say we're claiming more clients or more abundance or more prosperity, more health, more freedom, soulmate union, whatever it is, like we're putting it out there, but bringing it in,
Mm-hmm.
because when it's not going to be out there if it's not in, like you said. And like, I think that's where that safety piece is so important. Like if I think about myself currently, like I had this realization this morning. I was sitting on the beach doing doing an activation, and it was, the activation is called $1,000,000 You, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and and the like instantly when I signed up for it, I'm like, I know this is what I need, but also I was like, oh, I don't care about being a millionaire. I don't need to be a millionaire. Like, why is everyone so obsessed with money? Blah, 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 And so I'm listening to this $1,000,000 You activation with all of this resistance, straight up. I'm like, ooh, I reject your $1,000,000 while I listen to a $1,000,000 You activation. And
I wonder where it's gonna go.
yeah, and then I had this realization, was like, this is why you aren't receiving into your business the way you want to, because you're meant to have $1,000,000 business, but you don't want to be a millionaire. What do you want us to do about that? Like, my guides are very sassy. They're very just like, you're
To the
being
point.
dumb. Like, like you make no sense. You like contradicting yourself completely. Like, it is designed like in your path to have this, but you're resisting it. And then you're like calling out to us to fix the problem, but it's you. We can't do it. Like, you have to allow it in, and you have to. So that was a really cool realization, and like an example of cultural programming, like we
Yeah.
live in Australia. We don't like people that show
Achieving.
off wealth and that achieve, because I don't know why, but we just have this thing about it in Australia where it's just like, we just working class Aussies and rich
Yeah.
people are bad and up themselves snobs, and
That's what we're
there's a
here to
lot of
change.
cultural programming. Yeah, that's what we're here to change.
Here to
Yeah, yeah,
change.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because
Yeah.
you can't change the world, like you can't change the world without being resourced.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just can't. Like, you can't change the world without being resourced in whatever that resource needs to be, whether it's like money in your bank account or people on your team, like whatever it is. there's lots of things about the world that I would love to see changed, but me just wanting them to be different and me, even just me talking about it is
Mm.
not going to do it necessarily. Like you need the resources for your message to get out there, for you to be able to build the things, or you be able to take the action or the opportunity when it pops up. So,
Mm.
and that comes back to the safety. Like, it's
And
safe for
yeah,
me to have wealth because I'm going to do this with it, like, yeah, the
to
safe.
change the world. Again, like I wanted to add to that, to change the world, you have to change your internal world.
Yes.
So the Akashic Records. So essentially the Akashic Records are um they're kind of like an energetic paradigm that exists between everything. It's like a fabric that connects everything. So all of our thoughts, all of our emotions, all of our experience, all of our parallel past lives, the life we're experiencing now, all possible infinite timelines, all energies and entities, everything in existence exists in the Akashic Records. It's pretty much like a library that records all of creation. So everybody has access to the Akasha Records because essentially we are all part of the Akasha Records, our being, our soul, our light, our energy. So we all have that capacity to access them. There are so many different guided meditations you can find on YouTube to try and access it if it's something you want to start exploring yourself. Um, my mentor, Nimesh Radia, he actually has a really cool, quick little, like it's like 10 or 12 minutes. One of his earlier podcasts that he recorded is like a little 10-minute guided meditation. That's what I actually started using just to practice before I learned. And it
Yeah.
just gives you like, depending on your clairs. So your clairs are like your senses, how you receive your information, your intuitive information. So you see with your third eye, you might have images pop in or colors or clairaudience, so sound, words. Clairsentience, you may feel things in your body, tingles, twitching. Claircognizance, which is knowing, you just know something, kind of thing. There's a few others as well, and they show up in different ways. So when you do these kind of guided meditations, you get into a meditative state and you allow yourself to be in a place of receiving. Again, the more internal work you've done, you give yourself more of a capacity to receive that. So, for example, yourself, you would have done a whole bunch of work on your mindset, and even that would have been clearing out gunk out of your field, out of your mental field, to then allow you to receive things, when we did that first session. So what I do essentially is lead you through a guided meditation, which like clears the space, connects you with the pillar of light, which is like source consciousness coming down from above. I talk with my hands, so I don't know if you're going to post that recording
So do
anyway.
I.
You connect with the pillar from above, you bring it through all of your energy centers, your chakras, you bring it through your body, you hold the frequency, you clear your aura, you ground down into Gaia. So that's your connecting, clearing, and grounding. And then what we do from there is I open your records. And essentially, every single time I connect with the records, we can start with a question that you might have, like, why am I experiencing this pattern that's showing up? Like, what I suggest is, and I don't ever really get clients that come to me asking like, will I ever get back with my boyfriend? But like,
Yeah.
if you're coming to me and asking me that question, I'm not your person. I'm not your girl. So
More work to do before you're ready.
there's more work to do. Exactly. I'm here for those deep soul questions. Like, what are my gifts? What is my soul purpose? What am I missing? Why does this pattern keep showing up? What karma have I not released? Where is there that I can explore further? What safety and capacity can I create? And I will call upon your guides and higher self of the highest love, highest light, highest truth to come in and facilitate essentially what healing needs to happen. A lot of the time, that will be clearing out a wound from a past life, which you've experienced several times.
Mhm.
Cleared out some interesting ones for
Oh,
you.
man. Yep.
Yeah. And then I can sense in my body where that energy is stuck and I will help you move it. So you might not actually feel that. I generally will feel that. That's my clairsentience. I have a little bit of clairvoyance, like sometimes images come in, sometimes they don't. And essentially, we are led by your team who know you so intimately. They know the inside of every single cell of your being,
Yeah, they
and
know
they
you
know
better than you.
exactly, yeah, exactly. And they know exactly what it is that you need. And that's why I love this because I work on being the facilitator who can perceive what it is that your guides are trying to give to you in as clear possible way. so you can get that guidance and you can go forward with it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, a lot of the time after sessions, you'll feel tired or you'll feel like all the layers come up, or you just want to cry, you just want to sleep, or you're like, you might feel worse before you feel better, but
Yeah.
it is all for your highest good and your spiritual journey. So there you go. That's like a
Yeah.
nice little,
And
yeah.
it is like, it's honestly the piece. Like, mindset is great. It's great. Working on your mindset, cool.
Yeah,
Amazing. Important step.
very important. Still as
Bulletproof
well.
mindset, very important. But it is only going to get you so far.
Yeah.
Because, like you're saying, in the work we've done, we were clearing out past life wounds. There's nothing I can do in my mindset about that.
You
That
wouldn't know.
mind is dead. Like, you
You
know,
wouldn't know.
like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So, like, it is, yeah, it's such a big piece. And it's really been like the work we've done has really shifted my business and the work that I do, because that was the piece, that energetic piece, that spiritual piece was the piece missing in my business.
Mm.
Because, I was doing all the manifestation stuff, I was doing all the mindset stuff, I was doing all the strategy, and my
Mm.
business was not moving. And it was really hard, And
Mm.
I have no problem with hustle in a new business.
Yeah.
There has to be hustle.
Yeah.
That hustle doesn't have to be burnout. They're different things. But like, I was hustling without the benefit of it, and then we put in this energetic piece and it was like,
Oh yeah.
different ball game.
And you actually see that, like, not to beat to my own horn or anything. It's not me, it's your higher
No,
self and guides, but
go.
working through me. But the way that you are now showing up, like your lives are fire. I'm like, your superpower, your gifts is how you articulate these concepts and you get that buy-in. I watch your lives and I'm like, I wish I had more time for this right now because this is so much gold. But it in the way that you show up now is like it's so subtle. It is really subtle. But when like the whole frog in the pot of boiling water, you put them in and it's cold and you slowly
Yeah,
increase it. Like, but when you put that juxtaposition of you however many months ago to a video from now, you
yeah,
can see that difference and
yeah,
it's like measurable.
yeah.
But when you're looking at it like little piece by little piece by day by day by day, it just seems so small. And
Mm.
those little baby steps, but it's this journey is so incredible. And that's why I'm always like, you are exactly where you need to be. And that advice used to piss me off so much.
Right? Because when you're in the pain part, you're like, I don't want to be here. So
Yeah.
give me different advice, please. I'm
Yeah.
not interested in this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. We've all been there. So
yeah,
if you are in that space and you are really in it right now, this is something that I've really wanted to get out as well. If you are in it right now and you feel like this is fucked, I'm not doing this anymore, give me a sign, show me something. You are being prepared for the bigger stuff that is coming. You are, and however long it's been, like, yeah, I
yeah,
was in a world of pain for years, and internally, mentally, emotionally, I had so much turmoil. And yeah, you are in that because you are a badass. You actually are. Like, the reason any person who's living this life on earth right now is a effing badass, because what is going to come is big. And it
yeah,
already is coming. It's here. It's big. You are, just know that you are so worthy. Your heart is beating. You are breathing. If it's so hard, please reach out, find support. Obviously, there are so many services, but just know that it's not forever. It's not. It's not. And you are being prepared because you are badass. That's all I can say. So I think on that note. Well, anyway, if you want
yeah.
to add anything else.
I mean, we could talk all day, but
Mm-hmm.
we will we will leave it there
It's
because
amazing.
we've like, I know
Maybe
everybody got value
maybe
from
we'll
that.
do a part two.
I know that, so yes, right? But also, like, I'm so excited because you're going to be coming into my group mastermind. So like, we're
Yes.
going to be delivering this beautifulness
Yep.
to all the women inside that mastermind. So
Yep.
I'm so excited for that. I'm so grateful for you for that. And it's so like, my guides dropped it in this morning. I was like, of course, because you know, my life's work is to create these co-created spaces where, like, yes, I might be like leading it, facilitating it, but I don't need to be the keeper of all knowledge and wisdom.
Mm.
And like, I have a transpersonal profile, so I'm literally supposed to be like, my people need this, go and find it and bring it for them.
Mm,
And I thought that meant I had to go and become the keeper of that knowledge and teach it. No, I just go find the people who can do the part I can't do and give it
mm,
to my people because that's what they
mm.
need. And my people need your services like I did to open and access those soul gifts so we can step into our power. So I'm so excited for that. That's a whole other thing as well.
Yeah.
But I do have one question because I
Yeah.
asked this
Yeah.
question to everybody,
Okay.
and you know what the question is, I think, because you've listened to some of my other episodes. So you've had time to think about your answer.
No, I haven't.
Because a lot of the
It's
people
okay.
I ask, they're like, oh my gosh, I wasn't prepared for that question. So the question is, what does the word fearless mean to you?
Okay. Knowing that every single thing that you need ever is available to you. Because if you are always divinely protected and guided and resourced, because you, like I was about to say, you are so resourced, because you are
Yes.
everything, like the letting go and the having to know it all, you can let that go because you are so divinely guided and supported and loved. And when you tap into that connection, there's no need for fear.
Yeah.
There's no fear.
Yeah.
And it will still come up, I get that, but there's no need because you lean into that more and more and more, and it's just beautiful. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful. Like I have my family here at home, and I have my family who I speak to in my mind all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's fearless to me. Yeah.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that because it's already done, right?
Mm,
Quantum field, it already exists.
yeah.
All you have to do is trust and open up to receive it because that's been my thing.
Mm,
But it's already done. Like,
mm.
you literally can't fuck it up. You can't. Like, you might slow it down, but you can't
Yeah.
fuck it up because,
Yeah.
like you said, you're divinely guided,
Yeah.
resourced, you're born for this.
Yeah.
It's already done in the quantum field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I want to add again one because I feel like I'm talking to the people who were me a few years ago, who when they would have heard that you are exactly where you need to be would have been pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm I know that when I was in that space, like if somebody had said that to me, I'd be like, oh, come on, but why is it so hard? And it is hard. I am not making light of the fact that it is hard. I know that to the depths of my soul.
Mhm.
Um, I just keep coming back again to the whole fact that like why the strongest people, the bravest of us are given those challenges because we can face them. And that's all I can come back to. You are strong, you are worthy, you are loved. And if it's hard, please, there is so much support out there. You are not alone. Yeah, that's what I can share. So,
Yeah.
and or ask if you don't feel like you've got any resources, just ask your team. Just say, okay, guides, this is fucked. I'm sick of this. Please send me some support. Please send me some guidance. Let me know I'm not alone.
Yeah.
You set that intention, make that choice, and the universe can do nothing but answer and respond to that call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then look for it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because that can be something else that we do as well. It's like, I need a sign, right? With our hands over our eyes because we're deep in the hardness and the pain and the suffering. And it's like they're like, here it is. Here's the thing. It's
Yeah.
it's just here. Like just like
Be
look over
open.
here. It's right
Yeah.
here. So that's
Like the
something.
whole the story with like the flooding and like the guy on the roof and like the boat comes past. No, no, I'm waiting for God. And then like the
Yeah.
helicopter comes past. No, no, I'm waiting for God to save me. And then he dies and goes up to heaven. And
Yeah.
God's like the boat and the
That's so
helicopter
done.
and then
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah.
so be
Yeah.
open as well. Yeah. Anyway,
Amazing. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Beautiful.
That was so
Beautiful.
awesome.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't even need to say I hope you got value from that. I know everybody did. I know it served. Where can people find you if they want to chat more with you about Akashic Records or
Yeah.
just follow you, get your wisdom?
Yeah. So my main place is on Instagram. My handle is at I am Ania Hughs. I am cleaning up my Facebook page and I'm about to publish my website. So they will all be through there as well. Services you can find through the link in my bio. And I just, yeah, look forward to connecting with each and every one of you, whoever got, yeah, it's just, this is great. This
Yeah.
is amazing. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for having me on here. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, thank you, thank you, thank
Yeah.
you. And if you're listening, and you want to share, like, come over to Instagram, share, send me a message. I love to hear your thoughts. What stood out to you, what moved you, what questions you have, and we can answer those for you. So please, please do. Like we've said the word co-creation so many times, this podcast is another example of that, right? Like,
Yeah.
what do
Yeah.
you want? What do you want to learn? What do you want to
Yeah.
know more about? Like I said,
Yeah.
transpersonal profile. What do you want me to go find? I'll go find them. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, I love you, I believe in you, and be amazing.